The Bears' defense just lost its leader, and the linebacker who made history in the playoffs might be gone for good. A pass rusher from the Super Bowl champs is about to hit the market, and Chicago has to make a call right now. And on top of that, a backup quarterback worth millions could be on the move and blow up a division rival's plans, while three safeties walk out the door at the same time. Three bombs, everything is going off right now at the NFL Combine. Do not move, hit subscribe, and smash that like button. Bear down, News 1, Tremaine Edmunds. Look, let me say something that maybe nobody in Chicago wants to hear today. The Chicago Bears just kicked open one of the biggest doors of this offseason. And this is not some minor exit. This is about Tremaine Edmunds, the linebacker who has been the brain of this defense for 3 seasons, the player who led the team with 112 tackles in 2025, 4 interceptions, 9 passes defended, 1 sack, and 1 fumble recovery, the same player who added 13 more tackles in the 2 playoff games. That player, that leader on the field, just got permission from the Chicago Bears to seek a trade. This is not rumor. This is not speculation. This was confirmed by the Chicago Tribune on February 25th, 2026. And let me ask all the Bears fans, all the Chi-Town fans, all the Navy and Orange diehards from the South Side to the North Side, when was the last time this organization made a defensive move this brutal? I get why this can make sense from a salary cap angle, but it carries a massive risk that Ryan Poles has to handle with extreme care. Tremaine Edmunds is 27, turning 28 in May. This is the final year of the 4-year, $72 million deal signed with Chicago in 2023 as a marquee free agent. That contract included $50 million guaranteed. Tremaine has been the on-field general for this Bears defense. But now, with a $15 million salary and a projected cap hit of $17.4 million for 2026, the franchise is looking for some breathing room financially. If Chicago cuts Edmunds before March 11th, the date the league year opens, the Bears clear $15 million in cap space and only eat a $2.4 million dead cap hit. If they trade Edmunds, they can probably pick up a day 3 draft pick and still get that same badly needed cap relief. Ryan Poles spoke directly at the NFL Scouting Combine on February 24th. Poles did not sugarcoat anything. He said, and this is a direct quote, "There are a couple players we have to make decisions on. If it is a trade, if it is a cut, there are a lot of different options we can explore to create space." But like I said before, this is a unique situation where we have built our roster to a point where we have a lot of talented players, a lot of well-paid players, and that creates restrictions on the cap. We have to make difficult decisions. Difficult decisions. That is exactly what this franchise is living through right now. And that line really says it all when the general manager of the Chicago Bears has to stand up in front of the media at the Combine and talk about making tough calls on one of the best defensive players on the roster. It means the situation is real and the salary cap pressure is huge. So I have to ask you, Bears fans, and I want total honesty in the comments, did Tremaine Edmunds do enough last season for Chicago to justify restructuring the deal and keeping Edmunds in town? Because on paper, the production was outstanding. Under defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, Edmunds moved over to weak side linebacker and absolutely took over. 3 straight weeks with double-digit tackles, 4 interceptions in the early part of the season. Pro Football Focus credited Edmunds with 25 run stops, the highest mark on the entire roster. And ESPN made it clear Edmunds still led the Bears with 112 tackles despite missing 4 games with a groin injury. But the NFL is a business. I know it, you know it, and Poles obviously knows it too. Edmunds' career has been built on consistency and durability. Edmunds went 16th overall in the 2018 draft to the Buffalo Bills, back-to-back Pro Bowls in 2019 and 2020, over 100 tackles in every one of 8 straight NFL seasons. 8 full years. That is the level of player we are talking about. Here's what worries me, and it should worry everybody in Chicago. The Bears linebacker room without Edmunds gets thin and dangerous real fast. TJ Edwards, Edmunds' running mate and one of the cornerstones of this defensive turnaround, is still rehabbing a broken leg. Noah Sewell, who started 9 games last season, is coming back from a torn Achilles. And DeMarco Jackson, who stepped in with real poise when Edmunds was hurt and even earned NFC Defensive Player of the Week, is set to hit free agency. Poles himself admitted it when Poles said, And I quote, there are some unknowns there. There are some projections in terms of recovery timelines, and you want to know if that athlete is going to come back as the same player. Is the performance going to drop? That leads to the next point that I think is absolutely critical to understand. The Chicago Bears finished the 2025 season with 11 wins and 6 losses. They won the NFC North for the first time since 2018. They got their first playoff win since 2010. None of that fell out of the sky. Edmunds was a crucial part of why that happened. Chicago's defense led the NFL with 33 takeaways and set a league record with 7 come-from-behind wins when trailing inside the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. Including the playoffs, Edmunds' instincts to make game-changing plays were a major factor in all of that. Chicago Bears defense NFL 2025 takeaways record season. Now, I am not going to sit here and pretend Edmunds was flawless. The coverage issues were real. Edmunds allowed a 79.3% completion rate with 9 touchdowns on 208 targets during the time in Chicago. Yes, Edmunds balanced some of that out with 9 total interceptions as a Bear, but there were too many explosive plays given up, and when you stack that on top of the cap hit, Edmunds became expendable in the eyes of the front office. So what is the plan to replace Edmunds? I see a clear 2-part path. Step 1, bring DeMarco Jackson back in free agency. Jackson came to Chicago with Dennis Allen from their New Orleans Saints days. In Jackson's first start of the year, Jackson posted 15 total tackles, 5 solo, and 1 tackle for loss in a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers on November 23rd. A few weeks later, Jackson took NFC Defensive Player of the Week with 7 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 interception, and 2 passes defensed in the win over the Cleveland Browns on December 14th. Jackson also chipped in 6 special teams tackles. This is a player who knows how to compete, knows how to win, and understands exactly what Allen demands from linebackers. Step 2, go into the April draft and grab linebacker Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech. Remember this name because Jacob Rodriguez is going to be on every Bears fan's lips very soon. That Texas Tech defense last season was nasty, giving up only 11.7 points per game. Rodriguez was a massive part of that with 128 total tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 4 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, including 1 for a touchdown, and 7 forced fumbles, the highest total in all of the FBS. Rodriguez was so dominant that Rodriguez became the first pure defensive player to be a Heisman Trophy finalist since Aiden Hutchinson in 2021, and only the 6th pure defensive finalist since Ndamukong Suh in 2009. Tell me that does not get you fired up. A linebacker with that kind of turnover-creating instinct is exactly what Dennis Allen's defense needs to keep up the level Chicago reached in 2025. I absolutely believe that. The question is whether Poles executes this plan with the precision this franchise needs, or if Edmunds' exit leaves a gap that takes years to close. For Edmunds, the next few weeks are huge. If Edmunds and the representation find a team willing to absorb the contract and pay Chicago with a draft pick, Edmunds gets a fresh start somewhere else. If not, Edmunds probably hits the open market as a cap casualty. Either way, this run in the Windy City is almost over. March 11th is coming fast. Bears fans, the league year opens, and the choices Poles makes over the next few weeks will determine if Chicago can hold the level from 2025 and actually take the next step toward a Super Bowl. Bear down news 2, Jaylen Phillips. If that shocked you, hang on, because what is coming out of the NFL Combine right now has the potential to flip the entire conversation about the Bears' defensive front in 2026. We have to talk about Jaylen Phillips today, and when I say have to, it is because this story just landed like a missile in Chicago's offseason. The Athletic, through Zach Berman, reported that the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champions, do not plan to use the franchise tag or the transition tag on any of their pending free agents. That list includes Jaylen Phillips, the 26-year-old first-round edge rusher who arrived in Philly to flip games on their head. That decision out of Philly kicks open a huge door for the Chicago Bears, and this feels like the shot Poles cannot afford to let slip by. At the same time, Ryan Poles made it clear at the NFL Scouting Combine that while Chicago plans to add competition along the defensive line, it is unlikely that Chicago spends true top-of-the-market money to rebuild the whole unit in one offseason. That takes names like Trey Hendrickson off the board because Hendrickson could be looking for more than $30 million per year. That also makes a Max Crosby trade tough since it would cost multiple first-round picks and some wild cap gymnastics. And that, Bears fans, is exactly why Jaylen Phillips jumps out as the most interesting and urgent name on the board for Chicago this offseason. Phillips is almost tailor-made for what Poles is shopping for. Let me break down why I say that with zero hesitation. Phillips is 26, younger than Hendrickson, cheaper than Crosby, and Phillips does not require you to light multiple first-round picks on fire in a trade. SpotRack projects Phillips' market value at around $17.3 million per year. That sits below the very top tier of pass rushers, but solidly in the premium range. And for the Bears, who are projected to be roughly $4 to $5 million over the 2026 cap, that discount matters a lot. So can Jaylen Phillips actually produce in Chicago? The numbers speak for themselves. Or across the NFL career, Phillips has 28 sacks. 28. After the trade to the Eagles at the deadline, Phillips made instant noise. In 8 regular season games with Philly, Phillips posted 7 quarterback hits, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Pro Football Focus slapped a 77.1 grade on that stretch, confirming Phillips' status as a high-level pass rusher who can tilt a game. Jaylen Phillips sacks career highlights edge rusher NFL. Here's the part that matters most for the Bears and for everyone watching this. Chicago finished the 2025 season with only 35 sacks. Bottom 10 in the league in both points and yards allowed. The Monsters of the Midway, the most defensive franchise in NFL history, have a real pass rush problem. Montez Sweat is in place. Austin Booker has upside. There are role players coming back from injury, but dropping in a proven edge rusher at Phillips' level would raise the ceiling of Dennis Allen's entire unit. The timing lines up almost perfectly between Phillips and the rookie deal window for Caleb Williams, plus the prime years of Montez Sweat. Phillips is 26. If Phillips signs with the Bears, Phillips walks into a roster that already has a franchise quarterback, has Ben Johnson as head coach, and has an offense that just proved it can win playoff games. The one piece this defense is really missing is a second impact edge rusher who makes opposing quarterbacks lose sleep every week. And while the Packers and Vikings are still trying to piece together their rosters, Chicago has a shot to plant a flag in free agency. If the Eagles truly let Phillips hit the market, the Bears should be one of the first teams picking up the phone. This free agent class is thin on true difference-maker pass rushers. There are only a handful who can flip a game by themselves, and Phillips is in that small group. Now, I am not going to ignore the downside. There are real risks. Phillips' injury history with the Miami Dolphins before landing in Philly was legit and significant. There were seasons where staying healthy was a major issue, and the team paid the price. If the Bears are going to commit $17 million per year, they need to be confident this player is going to suit up for more than 8 games a season. Even with that, the opportunity is too big to just shrug off. Poles said at the Combine that opportunities have to line up. Well, here is one lining up at exactly the right time. A young pass rusher with Super Bowl winner experience hitting the market as a true free agent at a price that fits Chicago's financial reality. That does not come around every year, Bears fans. That is a window that opens and closes fast. So I have to throw it to you. If you were Ryan Poles, would you sign Jaylen Phillips to fortify the Bears' defensive front in 2026? Because this could be the exact turning point piece this Bears defense needs to jump from playoff team to real Super Bowl contender. And if that happens, we'll be talking about one of the smartest moves of this entire league-wide offseason. When it comes to building a contender, Chicago does not play around. Bear down. News 3. And just when you thought we were done, here comes the crazy part, because the Bears offseason does not take a breath. And the news rolling out of the NFL Combine is directly reshaping what this Chicago roster will look like in the 2026 season. This third story is really a bundle of moves that together paint the full picture of what Ryan Poles has to sort out in the next few weeks. Each one of these topics by itself would already be a huge headline. Altogether, this is a perfect storm. Let us start with what I think really shakes the board the most, and that is Tyson Bagent, the Bears' backup quarterback, whose future in Chi-Town is completely up in the air, but who has quietly turned into a massive chess piece this offseason. According to The Athletic and Kevin Fishbane, Ryan Poles confirmed that other teams have already called about trading for Bagent. Bagent only costs $4.75 million for 2026, according to SpotTrack. Ben Johnson and the entire offensive staff have praised Bagent, and in a free agent market where quarterback options are ridiculously thin, Bagent has become a highly coveted commodity around the league. Trading Bagent right now gives Chicago 3 clear wins. First, Chicago picks up extra draft capital, something the Bears badly need with the team sitting $9.5 million over the cap, according to SpotTrack. Second, if Bagent is moved, Chicago trims a roster cost at a time when every dollar matters and every financial decision has ripple effects. Third, and this is where it gets really fun, shipping Bagent to another team pulls a key option off the board for Malik Willis, the Green Bay Packers quarterback set to hit free agency in March and expected to be the most sought-after free agent quarterback of this offseason. Tell me that would not be perfect for Bears fans watching Chicago directly make life harder for the Packers. In the NFL, any edge over Green Bay gets celebrated like a huge win in this city if the Bears can walk away with a draft pick and also complicate Malik Willis's market at the same time. That is a two-piece shot Poles has to seriously consider without blinking. Caleb Williams just put together a monster 2025 season and locked in as one of the league's rising young stars. The urgency to have an elite backup behind Williams is not what it used to be. If Bagent is traded, the Bears can easily find another number 2 quarterback in free agency or in the 2026 draft. Case Keenum could be talked into coming back to Chicago. There are real, affordable options. For Willis, things get a lot trickier. Willis is not going to be the only NFC North backup on the market. And with only 6 career starts, asking a team for more than $30 million per year is a massive gamble that a lot of front offices are going to push back on. Bagent offering similar value at a fraction of the price at just $4.75 million becomes an almost too tempting alternative for teams to ignore. Now let us get into Breece Hall. A lot of Bears fans had eyes locked on the New York Jets running back, a 24-year-old explosive tailor-made for the style Ben Johnson loves to run. Remember, Johnson has a soft spot for play-breaking running backs like Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit. The connection was obvious, and fans could see it coming a mile away. But Jets general manager Darren Mogi made it very clear to reporters at the Combine that Hall is not touching free agency. Franchise tag, transition tag, an extension, whatever it takes, but Hall is not walking out of New York clean. That means if the Bears truly want Hall, they would have to give up draft capital in a trade. With the cap situation we already laid out, that path is basically off the table right now. It is time to let go of the Breece Hall free agency dream and look smartly toward the draft. The name Jadarian Price from Notre Dame is climbing draft boards as people realize how thin this running back market really is. And if the Bears end up cutting DeAndre Swift, running back turns into a real urgent need that cannot be kicked down the road. Now let us talk Trent Williams, because this name is floating around like some magic fix at left tackle after Ozzie Trapilo's injury. Trapilo tore the patellar tendon in the playoffs, needed surgery, and could miss the start of the 2026 season. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that Williams and the San Francisco 49ers are at a contract standstill and that the 5-time All-Pro left tackle could hit free agency if there is no deal. Schefter put it like this, and I quote, "With the 5-time All-Pro left tackle scheduled to carry a $39 million cap number this season, he and the 49ers are currently struggling to find a contract solution. If the two sides cannot close the gap, Williams is expected to join this year's free agent class, making Williams one of the premium players available." Let me be as clear as possible on this. The Bears should not fall for that trap. The reasons are obvious and hard to argue against. First, Trent Williams is 38. Williams has missed double-digit games in 3 of the last few seasons. Players rarely get better at that age, and Williams does not fit the timeline of a young Chicago team trying to maximize a Super Bowl window with Caleb Williams under center. Second, financially, Williams could be asking for $20 million or more per year and might even want a multi-year deal. With the Bears sitting more than $4.1 million over the cap, that makes 0 sense from either a money or roster-building standpoint. Third, and this is the biggest one, Ozzy Trapilo is coming back. Maybe it is later in the 2026 season, but Trapilo is only 23 and is the future at left tackle for this team. Signing Williams locks down a spot for an aging veteran when you already have a young, invested-in tackle on the roster. The cap space you would burn on Williams would be much better spent bringing back key free agents like Kevin Byard or Nahshon Wright. Players this team truly needs. It makes way more sense for Chicago to explore internal options. Look at a left tackle in this draft, someone like Caden Proctor out of Alabama who can hold down the spot, and then just let the Trapilo situation play out over time. Finally, we have to hit the safety situation, because this might secretly be the biggest hole on the 2026 Chicago roster, and almost nobody is talking about it enough. Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson are all lined up to become unrestricted free agents next month. That is potentially the entire safety room walking out the door at once. Polls in this front office have to make safety a high priority position, whether that means bringing back one of the vets or attacking the April draft hard. That is where Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon slams into the conversation. CBS sports analyst Garrett Podell just connected the Bears to Thieneman in a mock draft right as the combine kicked off. The logic is rock solid. Thieneman is currently ranked as the third best safety in this draft class after racking up 92 total tackles, 1 sack, and 2 interceptions last year with the Oregon Ducks. Thieneman is a versatile safety who can line up in the slot, deep, and down in the box near the line of scrimmage against the run. CBS Sports described Thieneman like this, and I quote, "Thieneman can save Chicago money at the position." Thieneman is versatile with the ability to align in the slot, deep, and in the box. Thieneman is an efficient mover who can close well on the football thanks to quick plant and drive technique. Thieneman has good instincts in the run game and uses them to fly into the path of opposing ball carriers. Thieneman does many things well, which makes Thieneman an ideal 2026 NFL safety. If the Bears can grab Thieneman at pick number 25 overall, Chicago would be landing a cost-controlled rookie contract safety who meshes perfectly with Dennis Allen's system as a high-end defensive chess piece. A player who can be the foundation of a new era in the defensive backfield after what could be a complete safety exodus from the 2025 roster. This offseason, Bears fans, this offseason is going to define whether the Bears are just a team that made the playoffs in 2025 or a franchise building something sustainable and powerful going forward. The call at linebacker with Edmunds, the edge decision with Phillips, left tackle with Trapilo's situation, running back with the Hall reality, backup quarterback with Bagan, and now safety with Thieneman. All of these pieces have to fit almost perfectly for Chicago to make that final jump. Let me say this with all the emotion I have for this city, for this team, for this franchise. Chicago Bears fans, we have suffered way too much from the Trubisky years to losing Roquan Smith to the wasted seasons with Matt Nagy. We have sat through way too many off seasons where the team promised everything and delivered nothing. 2025 showed us that this is different. Ben Johnson is different. Caleb Williams is different. Ryan Poles is building something real and built to last. Now it is about execution. Now it is about making the right calls, and we're going to be right here breaking down every move, every report, every quote coming out of Halas Hall and from the Combine in Indianapolis. Because this city deserves a winner. Because the monsters of the Midway deserve to run the league again. And we are the Bears voice on YouTube. Chicago does not play. Bear down. All right, Bears fans, we are at the end of this video, and I have a few big-time questions for you. I need you to answer them in the comments right now, because this is exactly what makes this community special. First question, and this one is straight about Tremaine Edmunds. If you were Ryan Poles today, what would you do? Would you offer a restructured deal to keep Edmunds as the brain of this defense? Or would you let Edmunds walk and roll the dice with DeMarco Jackson plus Jacob Rodriguez from the draft to rebuild the linebacker room from scratch? That decision's going to shape this defense for the next 3 or 4 years. Drop your answer down below. I want to read every single take, because in this community, everybody has a voice and everybody matters. Second question about Jaylen Phillips and the defensive front. Do you think Ryan Poles should go all in for the edge rusher the Super Bowl champion Eagles are letting hit the market? Or would you rather see Chicago focus on drafting defensive talent in April and build that front with young, cost-controlled players? I personally think Phillips is the right move for this specific stretch of the Caleb Williams window, but I want to know where you stand. Leave your vote in the comments. And third question, the spiciest one to me. With 3 safeties heading to free agency, Breece Hall locked down in New York, Trent Williams sitting there as a salary cap trap Chicago has to avoid, and Tyson Bagent being a bargaining chip against the Packers, what is the single most urgent decision Poles has to make before March 11th? Just one decision, the biggest one. Write it down below and tell me why. I know exactly how I see it, but I want to hear from you first. Look, I know there are thousands of Bears channels out there. I know you can find breakdowns all over the internet, but I will promise you one thing, and I am saying this straight from the south side of Chicago. From the real love I have for this franchise and these colors, this channel will always be the place where you get the fastest info, the deepest analysis, and the most authentic passion for the Chicago Bears in the entire Spanish-speaking world. We are not just a channel. We are a navy and orange family that suffers together, celebrates together, and believes in this franchise together. If you are new here and you still have not subscribed, this is your moment. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you do not miss a single Bears update. I am telling you what is coming over the next few weeks with the league year kicking off on March 11th. With free agency, with all the draft moves, is going to be wild. You cannot be on the outside looking in. If this video helped you, informed you, made you think, or hit you in the feels in any way, drop a like right now. That like costs you nothing, but it means everything to this channel because it tells the YouTube algorithm this content matters and that more Bears fans deserve to find it. I am Miguel Morales, Bear Truth, your Bears voice on YouTube. I will see you in the next video with more breaking news out of Chi-Town. And remember, no matter what happens this offseason, no matter how tough the decisions get, we are in this together. This city is tough, these fans are tough, and the Chicago Bears are coming back stronger than ever. Bear down, Chicago, bear down.